Hi everyone, Michael and Alison here again from Brandywine Private Wealth. Today we're going to be discussing one of the aspects of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act called the State and Local Tax Deduction Change. So the State and Local Tax Deduction, Alison, talk us through kind of what changed, how did it work before, and how does it work now?
Absolutely. So pre-OBBBA is what we will be referring to it as today. Everyone was subjected to a $10,000 cap on state and local taxes, also referred to as a SALT cap deduction. So because of that, most tax filers actually took what's called the standard deduction. Now, post-OBBBA, we have increased the SALT cap deduction to $40,000. Now that's $40,000 whether or not you're single or a married couple filing jointly.
Okay.
That is going to go through 2029. The big caveat here, though, is it's based on your income. So, of course, in order to continue to make things as confusing as possible, the SALT cap, you're able to receive that $40,000 if you have upwards of $500,000 of income, but that cap is actually completely phased out once you hit $600,000 of income or more.
Okay.
And then at that point, if you're that high of an income earner, the SALT cap reverts back to $10,000.
Interesting. So high level, I guess, prior to this bill change, like 90% of taxpayers took the standard deduction, right? So I guess now you're going to see a lot more people itemize?
That's exactly it. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Got it. Can you walk us through a scenario where someone would actually benefit from the SALT cap?
Definitely. So this is going to impact a lot of high income earners just because that's what will cause them to end up taking that itemized deduction.
Okay.
So say, for example, we have a married couple, Joe and Jill. Mm-hmm. They are Delaware residents. Okay. So their ordinary income, which we'll say is a combination of pension, Social Security, required minimum distributions, and IRA to Roth conversions, is $500,000. Then when you look at their deductions, so in their particular situation, since they're Delaware residents, they'll have state taxes of about $25,000, property taxes of $8,000. That gets them to $33,000 of state and local taxes.
Which they can take now because of the...
Okay. Exactly. Okay. So pre-OBBBA, that $33,000 would have been capped at $10,000.
Yep.
Now they're able to take that full $33,000. Where if this becomes even more beneficial is in this situation, we'll say they have mortgage interest for $10,000. That gets them to total itemized deductions of $43,000.
So in this case, they would actually itemize.
They would absolutely itemize, where prior to OBBBA, they would have taken the standard deduction, which would have been in the low $30,000 range.
Okay, got it. All right, so what are some of the variables that will impact whether a taxpayer actually receives the new SALT deduction?
Sure. So in this situation, your state of residency makes a huge impact, right? So if the example we just went through of Joe and Jill, if they were Pennsylvania residents instead of Delaware, most of their income sources that we named, the pension, the required minimum distributions, the IRA to Roth conversions, they're not taxed in the state of Pennsylvania. Okay. So therefore, their state taxes are much lower. So in that situation, if they're Pennsylvania residents, most likely you'll continue to take that standard deduction.
Okay, so like Pennsylvania may have $15,000 of property tax, but no income tax, or very little. I got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. So the other big consideration is your income. So in a situation where you have that $500,000 of income, you try and maintain your income below that threshold so that you can take that full $40,000 SALT cap deduction.
So should we obsess over keeping our income at $500,000 or lower? I guess
that's a really good question, and honestly, it depends on the situation. Okay. So again, this is a situation that's going to be in existence for the next few years until 2029. It really depends on total pre-tax IRA balances, right? Do we pause IRA to Roth conversions just to keep your income below $500,000? Just to receive a small state and local tax deduction or the larger deduction? It really depends on your actual family situation.
So that example, that could be penny wise and pound foolish.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
I'm going to minimize my income, pay more taxes later. Okay.
Exactly. So it's something that we as advisors will sit down and look at every single person's specific situation to see what makes the most sense for them and their families.
You have to run the numbers. Okay.
Absolutely.
Got it. Well, thanks everyone for joining. This has been insightful as always, Alison. Thank you again.
Thanks for having me.